because it's going to be a good evening where we are going to learn how to unlock more cash flow for all of us in this brand new year. Awesome, awesome. Now, this workshop is something that I'm very excited about because we all know that the importance of cash, right? But at the same time, we know that if we don't optimize our cash well, it's gonna be a drag. How many of you felt like your cash flow is a little bit like your cash sitting inside, be it is it your bank account or whatever platform that you are putting in right now? It's kind of like a drag right now. If you feel so, can you type D in the chat? All right. How many of you would love your cash to work harder for you? Okay, Ryan. Okay, Ryan felt so. Joyce felt so. How many of you would love your cash to work harder for you? Okay, if you would want it, can you type H in the chat? Okay, H stands for harder. Okay, Cash, can you work harder for me while I wait for a good opportunities? Okay, awesome. So this is what this workshop is about. I will personally share with you my own cash flow mastery strategy that I have been practicing. All right, and along the years, I also felt like I developed better and better sense in terms of how can I deploy my cash better. And that's why I'll be going through different kind of instruments that I personally put my money in so that you can see for yourself at the end of the day, which ones makes more sense for you. All right. How many of you are excited? If you're excited, can you type E in the chat? Okay. E stands for excited to learn. Good. Now, very importantly, congratulations once again, you are here. Okay, we have like 400 over people register, and I'm very happy that you decide to commit your time here because you could be doing something else, right? But you chose to spend your time here to level up. For that, can you give yourself a big round of applause? Can everybody type CCC in the chat? Okay, clap, right? And on top of that, okay, if you are here, make sure you don't drop out because I always experience people coming in slightly later and end up they have no seat to come in anymore because the Zoom will be full and then they can't get in. So if you accidentally drop out, people might just able to take your seat. So I want to make sure you stay till the end so that you can really learn to unlock different cash flow strategy together. Okay, awesome. Now, previously, by the way, how many of you it has been many times since you joined my workshop before? It has been many times and you actually watched my 2026 investing game plan. Can you type 2026 in the chat? Okay. How many of you watched my 2026 investing game plan before? Good. Okay, Zheyong watch it. Joyce watch it. All right, Rain watch it. Attended live as well. Fantastic. Okay, how many of you didn't manage to catch it? Okay, if you didn't manage to catch it, type me. Not yet. Okay, soon. All right, so for those who actually have my 7 investing course bundle, you actually have access to it because I hosted the replay inside my 7 investing course bundle. So if you have already, like joined my 7 investing course bundle, just go to the module 8, which is the newly given bonus for those who are part of my 7 investing course community, right? So go and watch it because whatever things that I'm sharing will be like additional layer to what I covered previously as well, right? And for those who are very new to me, okay, I will also be giving you lots and lots of information and value, of course, during this 1.5 hour workshop. And if you want to continue to follow me and learn more, then I will also share with you how you can do so as well. Right now, very importantly, okay, my name is Chloe. People also know me as the Arigato Investor. And if you've been following me on social media, you know that I actually put up a lot of content as well. So how many of you have followed me on social media? If you have done so, can you type me in the chat? Maybe is it Telegram, be it is it my IG or my YouTube. You follow me before, type me in the chat. Okay, me too. Me, Telegram. Awesome. So make sure to follow me there. You can find me at Arigato Investor in any platform, okay, because that's where I continue to give a lot of insights. And later on, I will also share with you my Telegram channel for those who want to continue to stay up to date. I will also be sharing with you where to find the replay and everything inside my Telegram. So stay till the end. I will share with you the code to join my community. Now, very importantly, okay, recapping what we have learned during the last workshop, we actually looked at the overall market condition. And this is where we also want to look at what the legend is doing, right? So Buffett, he is the most famous investor on earth. And right now, okay, Buffett, how many of you agree that he's actually holding quite a lot of cash? If you agree, can you type C in the chat? Okay, C stands for cash. Yes, okay, he is holding quite a lot of cash. How do you know, right? This is where you can see, right, literally how his cash holding actually changes over the last 5 years, right? Initially, he was having about initially it was quite high because of COVID. During COVID time, he actually started to buy more, right? And then after, okay, by the way, this is 2010. So that was during the '08 financial crisis. During that time, all right, before the '08, he actually held quite a lot of cash. And during the '08 time, he bought a lot, right? So that's how you can see that the cash shrunk. And then along the years, he continued to add more and add more. And right now, very interestingly is, okay, his cash holding, once again, go back to its almost like before '08 time, right? So this is quite obvious that Buffett is more careful in terms of his positions right now. And in his opinion, okay, the market could be overvalued. Okay, how many of you understand where is this chart coming from? If you understand, can you type U in the chat? All right. Why is it that Buffett is holding so much cash? It's because, well, the market is not cheap, right? So he only want to buy when the market is cheap or minimally reasonable price. So right now to him, the market definitely is not giving too many opportunities. And that's why he's holding a lot of cash, right? So what happened is, right, if that is the case, right, we as investors, we can always use Buffett's approach as a reference to see whether should we be increasing cash or should we be decreasing cash. So right now at this stage, do you think you should be increasing your cash holding level or do you think you should be decreasing? I or D? What do you think? I or D? Exactly, right? So that's why for me, all right, I am also thinking about how and I can maybe take profits for some of my positions and having slightly more cash from my on my end so that I can captivate the market better when it starts to drop. And if you look at the US market right now, once again, it's going back to all-time high again. So apparently the market is not cheap, but okay, sometimes it's interesting. Even though the market is not cheap, there are companies that can drop as well, right? So that's why it's very important that you want to be ready whenever you spot opportunities, you want to deploy your cash. How many of you know the importance of you need to be ready? Okay, if you know it, can you type R in the chat? Okay, R stands for ready, right? So your cash might be somewhere that's liquid, that is ready. Whenever the market gives you opportunity, deploy, right? So one of the example, right? What should you do with my idle cash? That's constantly the question I ask, right? Because we all know that the market has been, keep on going up all the time. It's not exactly cheap. How should I deploy my idle cash while waiting for opportunities? So during this masterclass, I will be sharing with you my own cash flow strategy. But very importantly, once again, it's not a buy or sell recommendation. Can everybody type I in the chat? Okay, I stands for independence. Yes, okay. Just like what Calvin said, be greedy when the market is fearful. So you need to be having the cash to be ready to be greedy when the market is fearful. But right now the market is actually pretty greedy, right? Yeah. So very importantly is, right, while we wait for the market opportunity, we need to be independent in understanding the whole financial market. And on top of that, one of the things that I share are from my own personal perspective. It doesn't constitute any kind of investment advice. So as long as you are able to practice this independent thinking, this is what this community is about as well. We want to train you to have this ability to decipher for yourself so that you make informed financial decisions. Okay, if that is good for all of you, can you type good in the chat? All right. So after going through this workshop, you will be more equipped to make better informed decisions. And then you get to decide, right? Does it make sense to do what I'm personally doing as well? All right. So that's why, very importantly, okay, let's take a look at the first way that you can park your cash is obviously the bank. All right. Now, how many of you have money in your bank? Okay. If you have it, can you type bank in the chat? Yeah, obviously, right? We all have some form of money in the bank. And in fact, if you've been putting your money in the bank for the last, I don't know, like the last few years, it's considered quite decent because the interest rate was actually higher, right? But recently, how many of you observe that the bank interests are shrinking? Okay, if you observe that, can you type S in the chat? Has the bank interest been shrinking for you? Absolutely. Okay. I literally see that in my own bank account as well. And I actually did a comparison, right? Let's say you put not just in the normal bank account, but you put inside like a high yield saving account. I did this comparison and I realized that let's say if you put like let's say $50,000, right? Put inside the bank. And the best one right now is actually according to here, it's actually OCBC, right? But provided you park your salary with them, so every month your salary is being credited, then you have 1.25% per annum, according to the latest shrinking interest rate. But let me ask you guys this, 1.25, is this considered low or high? What do you think, low or high? Yeah, okay. Pathetic. Okay. Michael, thanks for being so transparent. Okay. And to me, it's definitely considered low. Okay. This is also on the condition that you need to fulfill criteria like parting your salary and all this. And if you are self-employed person, right? For example, for me, I'm self-employed. I don't even have a credit salary every single month. Then I don't even satisfy this criteria. So what happens is if I remove the salary, wow, my earnings in terms of my interest is 0.05%, even more pathetic like what you showed just now. So to me, it was like, then what's the point of me putting my money in a bank, right? Which is literally earning me nothing, and I can't even beat the inflation, which is still here regardless. Despite interest rate drop, I think the inflation is still pretty high. So yeah, definitely, I have some money in the bank, but it's very, very minimal. Most of the time, I withdraw from my bank and I put inside somewhere else that work better for me. Okay, so for me, bank is definitely okay, no. Okay, how many of you understand this? If you understand this, can you type one in the chat? Better find. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, previously, KK, I did a workshop to cover Singapore banks, right? Yeah, it's indeed a good investment if you know when to buy. All right, you must know when to buy. Cannot buy when it's all-time high, obviously, right? So yeah. So now let's go into strategy number two, which is fixed deposit. All right. So if you fix for a period of time, then obviously they're going to give you slightly higher interest, right? So these are the latest fixed deposit rate that you can get. And of course, some of them even have minimum deposit in order for you to hit the tier. So for example, if you go for, let's say, like 1.4% ICB, the Bank of China, right? You need to deposit 200K in order to even unlock 1.4%. And the worst thing is, actually, you need to lock in for some time. And that some time can be even up to 12 months. So guys, what do you think? Do you think potentially the market might give you opportunities in the next 12 months? Yes or no? What do you think? Yeah, the banks also ask you a lot of questions when you need to withdraw, right? So Robert believes that in the next 12 months, potentially there'll be opportunities. And in my opinion, I think 12 months to have opportunities, it's quite often that we actually see good market correction in 1 year's time, right? So it might not be a sharp drop like, wow, 20%, 30%, but at least a 10% correction is quite common. Usually a 10% correction can happen like every 3 months, 6 months or so. So I definitely wouldn't want to park my cash in a very fixed place where I cannot take out when market are giving me opportunities, right? So that's why for me, despite the fact that this is slightly higher than the bank, it's still not an ideal scenario. How many of you understand where I'm coming from? If you understand, can you type F in the chat? Okay, S stands for flexibility, right? So that's why when it doesn't give me flexibility, I don't want, right? Why? Because for example, recently, right, for those who like to do individual stock picks, you will observe that actually one company, right, a tech company actually dropped quite a fair bit. In fact, close to a 30% drop. Okay, despite the fact that the market is all-time high, guys, there are still opportunities out there, right? So this is where I like to deploy my cash. I wouldn't want to miss opportunities like this, being my cash locked in and cannot take out and cannot invest, right? So that's why during this time, actually recently I deployed some bullet to buy into this business because I think it's a great business for long-term holding, and it's 30% discount, right? And then another one, for example, this is an ETF, right? An ETF that dropped 11%. To me, I think it's a good entry because at least I'm not buying at an all-time high. I can use this chance to dollar cost averaging better, right? So this is where the opportunity cost is. If your cash is being locked up somewhere and you cannot take out, when opportunities are here, you are not able to invest because of the locked-in, right? How many of you understand it? Okay, if you understand it, can you type you in the chat? Okay, so I shall not name it because based on rules and regulations, I cannot have stock recommendation. So you can make a guess. You can basically see around the stock price what kind of companies is it out there, right? So that's why I want my cash to be free. How many of you love that? If you want your cash to be free as well, can you type free? And free cash. Okay, free cash flow is the ultimate option for me. So that's why, ta-da, definitely not fixed deposit as well. So now let's go into the next one, all right, which, okay, is bonds. Okay, how many of you actually have bonds? If you have bonds, can you type bonds in the chat? Bonds, for example, right? Okay, of course, not talking about junk bonds. Okay, we are talking about save bonds. Okay, save bonds, like for example, the Singapore saving bonds. Okay, how many of you have SSB? If you have SSB, can you type SSB in the chat? Okay, nope. Nope. Okay, some of you have, some of you don't. All right. So for me, I did part, I think what was it, like 20,000 about 2 years ago or 3 years ago in SSB, because at that time the interest rate was better, right? So I managed to kind of lock in the yield slightly better, because right now, as you can see, the SSB rate is also shrinking because the interest rate is coming down, right? So that's why if you actually do it right now, the rate is actually not very fantastic, right? And one thing very interesting about SSB is it's kind of like a stepped interest. If you only hold it for 1 year or 2 years, actually your interest rate is pretty low. It's like 1.35%, 1.59%, which is on the low side. Only when you hold all the way until like 10 years or so, then your annualized return will be above 2%. But that's assuming that you hold for 10 years. But guys, let me ask you this question. Does it make sense for you to hold your money for 10 years to have a 2.25% yield? Does it make sense for you? If it makes sense, can you type make sense? If you think don't make sense, can you type D in the chat? Okay, D sense or don't make sense. Yeah. So if you invest in the stock market, I think 10 years down the road, your return very high chance to be way more than the 2.25%, right? So that is why it's not very ideal, especially in these market conditions, since the interest rate is dropping, right? So I personally wouldn't buy more SSB right now, right? And another one that most people might always want to consider is the treasury bill, right? Which is also issued by the government. It's on a shorter term duration. So this is a 6 months. So I want you to see that back then, all right, in 2024, the yield is still relatively decent, 3 point something percent. Of course, from like close to 4%, it start to shrink to 4% to 3%. And obviously right now, it's pretty little, right? Only 1.37%. And in order for you to captivate this 1.37% in the most recent data, you also have to hold for 6 months, right? If not, you wouldn't be able to get this 1.37%, which once again, there is flexibility issue. And if I buy and sell T-bill, I might also end up risking my currency, risking my capital, because the price will move as well. So generally, if you invest in treasury bill, it's already quite short term. People will just hold until maturity, and in order to hit that targeted yield that you are aiming for in the first place. So that's why to me it's not flexible, and the yield is not fantastic as well. So for me, I will also skip bonds. Okay, if you understand this, can you type S in the chat? Okay, S stands for skip. Yeah, used to be 4%, right now it's yeah, really very, very little, right? And who knows, when interest rate drop even more, it's gonna be even lesser as well, right? So now let's take a look at number 4, which is money market funds. How many of you have heard of money market funds? If you have heard of it, can you type MMF in the chat, right? And if you attended my options coaching program, right, during the 3-day options to freedom program, I will always encourage, right, people who invest, right, in the US market, because not all the time US market is favorable to invest, right? So whenever you have funds inside your brokerage account, one of the best way to make your fund work harder for you is to activate the money market funds. And in fact, many influencers or many finfluencers or investors share the same like thinking as me. So recently when I did this video, I interviewed many famous investors and famous influencers in Singapore. All of them also said that they like to put their money inside money market fund if it's idle cash inside their brokerage account, right? So for me, it's the same thing as well. And what is money market funds, in case you don't know what it is? It's basically like a pool, right? Think about it's a pool of money where investors, right? Be it is it where you are conservative or you are aggressive type of investor, they pool all of our money together and they invest in short-term, high quality, and very low risk debt instruments, right? Such as including it can be MAS bills, right? Or the treasury bills that we saw just now, or it could be because they have such a big pool. They are able to negotiate with the banks better to have a slightly better rates as compared to we as a normal individuals to put our money inside the bank. So that's how they have a slightly higher interest return. And last but not least, it could also be they are buying into very high grade commercial bond, like corporate bond and all this. And because of that, because those corporates are blue chips, are good company, right? The risk of defaulting is also very low. So that's why money market funds generally tend to be very safe, right? And at the same time, give decent return. So if you look at this, right, for me, whichever brokerage account I put in, I will always activate money market funds. So for example, if you look at the SGD return, it's about 1.3%, right? And if you are putting your USD inside, it's about 3.6%, which it's better than putting your money in any instruments that we show you just now because it's liquid. How many of you understand where I'm coming from? If you understand, can you type L in the chat? Okay, L stands for liquid. You can take out anytime, and there is no penalty because you have early redemption or whatsoever. No, okay, so it's just very liquid, very flexible, redeemable anytime, no locked in, and there's no redemption fee as well. And last but not least, it also earns decent yield. So for myself, I will always make sure I put my funds whenever inside a brokerage account, I will put inside money market funds. Okay, so if you understand where I'm coming from, can you type 4 in the chat? Good. All right. So yeah, so this could be one of the way that you can potentially unlock better return for your cash. But guys, okay, of course, we don't just stop there. How many of you want to level up even further than the yield that you saw just now? If you want to level up further, can you type 5 in the chat? Okay. Now the fifth strategy, right? So, okay, I have to be transparent with you. I only know about this strategy about 4 months ago, right? When I was having a lunch with one of my friends, and then she was sharing with me, oh, did you know about this? And actually give even better returns. And then I look at this, wow, really? And when I check this out, actually it gives even higher returns than money market funds, right? So since then, I've been putting my cash inside, and so far I've made actually over $1,200 already in terms of returns, right? So how many of you think it's pretty good? In 4 months' time, I make about 1,200 Sing dollar for my cash return. If you think it's pretty good, can you type good in the chat? Wow, it's awesome. All right. So now, for in order for you to hit your 4% return, right, it must be in USD, right? So remember, when we look at money market fund just now, the USD is about 3.8, right? 3.8%. But if you park your cash here, it's giving you actually 4% return, right? And if you park SGD, we all know SGD is very stable, okay? So the interest rate is also not as high as the US. So that's why if you park SGD, your return would not be as attractive as US dollar. So it really depends on you. For me, I have a lot of USD, and that's why no brainer for me to park my USD there. And at the same time, I have some SGD as well. So that's why for my SGD, I also park it there. It's giving me about 1.8% return. And all of them is flexible. That means I can take out anytime. There is no locked in, and it still give me much higher return as compared to whatever instruments that you saw just now. How many of you think that this is pretty awesome? Okay, if you think it's awesome, can you type A in the chat? So some of you are guessing. Okay, so later I shall reveal the answer to you, of course. All right, so that's why I did a comparison. It's higher than money market funds. It's also higher than T-bill. It's also higher than fixed deposit, which will lock me in, but this one no lock in, right? I can withdraw anytime, and there's no redemption fees whatsoever. Give me lots of flexibility and yet give me much better return. And very importantly, the returns are coming in on a daily basis. So this is just one of my recent screenshot. If you log into my app, you will see that in the last few days, I have daily returns. So daily returns come in USD, comes in SGD because I park both of my currency inside. And to me, it's quite decent. I'm making maybe about $10 a day. So this $10, I can use it to buy coffee. I can use it to maybe buy a Thai fan or a meal outside. So become cash flow for me to cover some of my daily expenses. Okay, how many of you think this is pretty good? If you think it's good, can you type C in the chat? Okay, C stands for cover. Okay, cover with cash flow provided, and it's daily returns in this case, right? And so that's why, what can I do with the cash flow, right? I can literally either go and eat my daily meals. And in fact, recently, right, I went to stay in a five-star hotel, and all these five-star hotel expenses are being paid for by the cash returns that I earn from the app itself, right? So that's why I think it gives me a lot of, peace of mind, thinking that, hey, actually right now I'm not spending my own money. I'm spending the returns that I made from the cash that I have actually parted in. And my cash is actually part in a very, very safe instrument, which later on I will share with you what are some of the instruments, right? So what platform is this? It's actually Chocolate Finance. How many of you have heard of Chocolate Finance before? If you have heard of it, can you type C? And if you are new to Chocolate Finance, can you type new in the chat? Oh, so some of you are very savvy. You already heard of it, maybe even earlier than me, okay? But there are still many of you are new to Chocolate Finance. Just like me 4 months ago, I am also new to Chocolate Finance. So let's take a look, okay? Why do I personally park my cash inside? And in fact, today, I also managed to invite the founder of Chocolate Finance to come here to share with you more about how he invests. And because he's such an experienced investor with 30 over years of investing experience, how many of you also want to learn from him? If you want to learn from him as well, can you type me in the chat? Wow. Okay. So later on, I'm going to bring him on very soon. Okay. But very importantly is, like I said, right, my cash has generated me very decent return. So I part in about 50,000 US, which has generated me 700 over US dollar, right? And I also part in about 40K Sing, which generated me close to $300. So net together, in total in SGD, it's about $1,200 return. And when I did the calculation, it's about 4% for my US dollar, about 2% for my SGD, right? Which to me, it's awesome, right? So for those who are very new, okay, if you also, after this workshop, you want to consider actually having some of your money inside Chocolate Finance as well, you can actually sign up via this link here. And of course, very importantly is I also want to invite Walter to be here because he is the founder of Chocolate Finance. And by the way, he is also the founder of Sing Life. Okay, how many of you have heard of this insurance company called Sing Life? If you have heard of this before, can you type S in the chat? Okay, so is this a safe platform? Very good. So later on, we will get Walter to answer all these questions as well. And it's MAS regulated. So in terms of safety level, I have no problem putting my money inside because I know that it's actually under MAS regulation as well. All right. So yes, it used to be Sing Life is an insurance company. Then after that, actually, when Walter left Sing Life, right, he actually founded Chocolate Finance. And without further ado, can everybody type CCC? Okay, clap, clap, clap in the room. And let's welcome Walter to be here. Hi, Walter. Hi, Walter. Are you able to hear us?
Hey guys, hey Chloe, hey everybody. Hi
Oh,
Chloe,
wow.
thanks
They
so
are all
much.
super excited. They all like clap, clap, clap so hard for you.
Thanks. Thanks for inviting me to join, Chloe. I love you. I love the work that you're doing, and I love how many people you're helping with their finances. I think it's a great journey that you're taking people on, and Congratulations on putting together such great content. I really love it.
Thank you so much, Walter, for your time as well and really taking up this precious time to be with us tonight so that you can share more about your own insights as well as like in terms of chocolate finance, how do you actually invest the money safely? So maybe we can get you share a little bit more about your vision. Like why did you actually start chocolate finance in the first place?
Yeah, sure. So many of you'll know I've been in Singapore for 26 plus years. I used to be an HSBC banker for many years. I used to be an insurance guy. And at one point in time, I left HSBC to be a founder of an insurance company, and we started Singapore Life. And I did that because I thought that people needed a better kind of life insurance company. And we built a really cool one. We made it much cheaper to buy life insurance, but life insurance, not so much investment linked plans. I hate those things. But simple life insurance is super easy to access, super techy, everything. And we did that, and we built it really well. As you saw, we built that business very fast. We acquired even Zurich Life along the way, and we acquired Aviva, and then we moved those all together. And one of the things that I did when I was at Sing Life, I thought actually how to sell more insurance, right? And how to sell more insurance. Actually, banks are quite good at selling insurance. So why don't I try and make an account which is like a bank? And so we created something at Sing Life called the Sing Life account. Yeah. And that was really to help people with their cash. And we actually found that actually real people had a real need for a better place for their cash. And so we built a product, we called it the Sing Life account, and it worked really well. We put like $1 billion and 100,000 customers on the platform very quickly. But the insurance product had a fundamental problem, given that it was because it's an insurance product, it has to hold a lot of capital. So when I was finished at Sing Life, then I thought, well, actually, the same problem is there for everybody. Everybody's still got cash in the bank, do nothing. How can I help people to do a better place for your cash? And if you think about regulation and time and everything, the world is changing, right? And so just because banks used to be the good place for your money doesn't mean that banks is still the best place for your money. And I thought, can we build something which is safe, regulated, deliver good return? And so that's what we built for Chocolate Finance. So Chocolate Finance is designed to give you a better place or a great place for your spare cash, which gives you a return which is designed to give you a targeted return better than what a fixed deposit can give you and give you access to your cash at any time. That's really what we wanted to do. So that's
Yeah,
the starting
also
point. Yeah.
where I find it very interesting as well, because when I was actually looking at the chart, like chocolate finance performance has been consistently over, right? Be it is it TBUs, SSBU, it's also better than like definitely fixed deposit. It's also better in like average cash management account, like be it is stash away and all this, right? So how did you manage to do that?
Yeah, sure. This is a great chart. You can see that, of course, chocolate finance rates have gone down, and many people on the internet have said, oh, chocolate finance rates gone down. But actually, if you look at it, everybody rate gone down. And the most important thing is that chocolate's rates have been better, consistently better than everything. If you look at the FD line, which is the gray line, chocolate is about 60 to 100 basis points more, depending on the time that you look. Yeah. If you look compared to, say, the average, cash management account or MMF type things, generally it's been higher, and there's some real science behind that. We use an approach which is actually quite similar to the way insurance companies manage their money, right? And basically, what it does is it looks at the expectation of cash flow and matches that with short-term fixed income bonds at the lowest possible volatility. So there is some mechanic behind it. If you put your money with a bank, what does a bank do with your money? Well, they lend it to somebody, right? Well, technically, we do pretty much the same thing, but instead of lending it to someone, we're buying a bond. And a bond is effectively the same as a loan. People issue bonds, which is effectively raising money, right? Or borrowing from someone. So we place those money in bonds, which are very, very high quality, in order to deliver these returns that sit behind it. And that's how we've been able to do it. So we use a whole lot of mechanics. There are other things that mean that we get better returns. And I'll give you an example. Banks and insurance companies, when they take your money, the money goes onto the balance sheet, right? You're basically giving your money to the bank.
Mm,
Bank holds it and the bank owes you the money back, right? And
mm,
because the bank holds the money on their balance sheet, if the bank goes kablooey, then your money's gone. That's why you need
mm,
SDIC protection, but also
mm,
that's why banks have to hold a lot of reserves. Yeah.
Mm.
And because the bank has to hold a lot of reserves, they have to make some money because their reserve is expensive to hold money, do nothing. So
Yep.
that's why they have to eat first from the reserves that they make, and they can only give you a small interest after that, right? That's how banks work. For chocolate, it's different because we're not a bank. We're actually an asset management company. When you put your money with chocolate, you're not actually giving your money to us. You're putting it in a separately segregated ring-fenced account, which is basically a bunch of bonds or funds of bonds, which we manage for you. So if something happens to chocolate, your money's still safe because it's separately ring-fenced, segregated, custodized, separate. And the beauty of that means that we don't have to hold reserves to support it because it's already ring-fenced and safe and protected. That means that all of the returns that come from the investing of the bonds goes back to you guys, not us to kind of meet our capital. And that's one of the many tricks around how we've been able to reinvent how money works. And we're very
Mm.
proud of this. I think this is a first initiative that I've seen around. And as you can see, we've been delivering this consistently for for over 2 years, and we've proven that it works. I know a couple of guys have spoken about, withdrawals and things like that, which I can talk through in a while. But the idea here is very simple. Chocolate is designed to give people an enhanced return on their cash savings. That's the entire reason for us to exist. And I'm really, really happy that we've been able to do that consistently over a period of time.
Yeah, and I think Walter highlighted something very important to note, that why is it that banks are unable to give us the interest higher than what we wanted? It's also because like they have to hold a lot of reserve. That's kind of the drag for them. And because of that, the business nature don't cannot allow them to give us the high interest, right? But on the other hand, chocolate is not a bank, and that's why they don't have this kind of drag. They can literally help to invest the cash in a very, very safe instruments so that to give us higher return in this case. So if you don't mind sharing, right? Like because when I open my app, by the way, when you have a chocolate account, you can literally see what are you currently buying, right, through chocolate finance. So this is where Walter and the team will actually decide what kind of different funds or different bonds that they invest in so that to give us the return that you can, like I'm personally enjoying, right? So how do you actually balance risk versus return? How do you select, like what are some of the criteria that you have?
Yeah. So we obviously look through, we select funds, and the funds are really funds of bonds. And we use different managers to look at certain parts of that portfolio, whether it be duration or regional exposure or other things, to construct a well-diversified, very high quality uh, bucket or group of access to bonds that sit underneath it. So we actually put monies into these funds. So we work with all of these asset managers to decide how to construct the portfolio. And what we do is we regularly adjust this based on where market is. Now, again, for bond funds underneath this, all we're trying to do is deliver a target return. Our job is to deliver a return which is better than a fixed deposit. That's our target. And so what we do is everything we do is to manage that. And we use funds to do that because we can do that at the most scalable way, right? You can do this as a very scalable thing. And the very simple thing is we will deliver the returns to you based on the funds. And the simple mechanic is if we're able to outperform the returns that we're giving, so if it's a 1.8 or 2% or 1.8%, depending on your balance for Sing dollar, if we outperform that, then we take the outperformance as a fee. But if we underperform that, then we top up, right? And so the mechanic is very simple. We don't make any money at all as a business unless we outperform. And actually, in fact, if we underperform, we top up. That's the mechanic that our business is. And that's how it works. And we've been doing that for quite a long time, and it works very, very well.
Yeah, I think one thing that drew me to actually started using chocolate is because my friend shared about the top up program that they have. Okay, so in case you're wondering, so for chocolate, they will top up for you because like what Walter is saying, that they actually help you to invest your funds into different kind of funds, save bonds and all this, right? So if they don't hit their target, they will actually top up for you from their own money, right? So if you actually put 50,000, for me, I put 50,000 because I want to maximize it. So for the first 20K, you will earn 4.1% for your US dollar. And for the next 30K, it will be 3.8% per annum for the returns. So that's what Walter is mentioning about the top up, right? Is that what you mean, Walter?
That's right. And like you said, we do that on your first 20,000 for 4.1%, and then your next 30,000 up to 50,000 at 3.8. But above 50,000, there is a little bit of volatility around the market because that volatility is there. And we do that on purpose to remind everybody that these are still going to be, bond funds. But, these for up to 50,000, that top-up program works incredibly well.
Yeah, it basically helps you to smooth your earning. So that's how for me, like or since I put in 50,000 US dollar, it has actually slightly grow over time. So originally when I top up was about 50K. So right now it's about almost 51K because I've earned like 700 over dollar in terms of my cash returns, right? So the same thing for SGD, they also have the top up program. But of course, because SGD in terms of the currency, they are not able to give as high yield because the interest rate is also lower. But I think it's still decent. It's 1.8% to actually 2% for the first 20K. And then the next 30K will be 1.8%. So that's why right now I am putting in about 40,000 cash inside for SGD and I make about $300. Yeah, so that's how the top up program actually work. So, Walter, I also want to ask you about this question. Like currently, okay, so my cash right now it's about 100. Okay, in case you guys are wondering, I put up about 100K inside chocolate because I want to fully maximize my top up program returns. So anything that is more than that $50,000, how does that actually work?
Yeah, so basically you still get the target return is still the target return. But what it does mean is that it might not be stable every single day. It might just move
Mm,
up and down a little bit every single day, more like a money market fund, a little bit of movement there.
mm,
So that the smoothing of the top-up program works up to 50K. But after that, you still should get the same returns because it's the same underlying funds that
mm.
are invested and it's the same underlying. But we just don't smooth above that. Normally we find that people with more than 50,000 are happy to take a little bit more volatility. They don't mind so much. But at the moment, yeah, that's how it works. So the top-up program helps you up to 50,000. And then above that, you get a little bit more volatility, but you're still getting the same returns.
So when you say the targeted return, so in US dollar, what is the targeted return that your funds are targeting?
So at the moment, that would be the 3.8, right?
The 3.8. All
Yeah,
right. And then for the SGD is about 1.8. Is that right?
1.8. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So so there are some questions from our community here. So they're asking, is it possible to use SRS or CPF to put inside chocolate?
Not yet. We'd love to be able to do that at some point. Look, I think CPF is a great place for your money. No one's going to give you more than 4%, so you might as well keep it there. So if you're not maxing out your CPF, then we should reconsider. Government, this is free money, right? So you should make sure you've got it. Even me, I top up my CPF because I think it's solid and you want to max out on that stuff. But if you've got spare cash, then Chocolate Finance is a great place for it. SRS, maybe one day. Obviously, Chocolate is only a 2-year-old company. We've got lots of things to do and build. But SRS, one day we'll get there. We've got lots of other things that we're building, which I'll show in a little while. Lots to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Walter is also being very transparent here, right? Because if you are talking about your retirement account, it's already earning you 4% return, right? So and it's in SGD, right? So if
Yeah.
you think about it, chocolates in terms of the SGD, it's about 1.8% to 2%.
Yeah.
So it will still make more sense for you to have your SGD if you actually have it inside retirement account. But of course, if you are just talking about the normal OA, that's 2.5%. And yeah, there are better ways to optimize your CPF. If you already joined my program before, I did teach you how to invest your CPF better, right? So yeah, that is another way. But also something very interesting about chocolate is you can, because while you earn your returns daily, they actually have a chocolate debit card that allow you to earn miles while you spend. All right. So in a way, when you earn miles, it can also be translated to free air tickets to whichever destination that you want to go. So Walter, can you share with us a little bit more about how does this card actually work?
Yeah, so what we found was that we were quite good at giving people a good return on their money. But of course, it's not just about how to earn on your cash, but can we actually get you some miles program as well? So we did a partnership with Max, and Calvin, that gives you max miles, which means it can go to either you can switch those miles into multiple airlines. So you can go to the nice thing about Max is you can go to Cathay or I think there's 51 airlines on their platform. You can transfer to Singapore Airlines, but you have to switch it into U points first and then switch it out again. It's a bit more complicated, but you can get miles. Basically, it's 1-for-1 miles. And we've got a mechanic which says you can earn up to 2 miles on your spending. That's 1 mile on your first $1,000 of spend, and can get up to 2 miles depending on your chocolate balance as you grow the balance. And a lot of people love it. I think we've got at the moment 39,000 cards in operation across our 70,000 customers. So that's or 100,000 customers, but so all good. Yeah. Um, yeah, I see there's a couple other questions. And so, Siong, there was a couple questions earlier just about
Yeah.
withdrawals.
Oh
Remember,
yeah, sure.
remember, Chocolate Finance actually invests in bond funds, which are short-term investment income bonds. So technically, it takes up to 3 business days for the money to clear, to come out. So that's how it works. We put the money in, we invest it, and that's part of the deal. If you want to get slightly higher returns, there is something that you have to give up along the way. And three
Mm,
days is what you give up, technically. Now, what Chocolate did a year ago was we thought actually we can help people by actually giving them instant access to their money. And what we did was we had a bucket of money. We had about 30 million bucks or so, where we said, okay, if you wanted to withdraw your money early, we could actually give you the money first, and then we'll get the redemption proceeds 3 days later when it comes out of the funds. And that works really, really well in ordinary times when there's lots of money coming in and money going out and it's all pretty stable. But obviously, if there's a big withdrawal by lots of people all at the same time, then that system, it doesn't work as well. So then it kind of has to go back to the 3 plus days. So now that's how it works. So we're currently processing withdrawals for SGD in about, I think, 90% of withdrawals happen in less than 30 hours. And that'll come down a little bit more as time goes by. So as many of you know, most of our stuff actually happens at the end of the day. But it's getting faster and faster. So yeah, to the question is how long does it take? It takes on paper, it takes up to 3 business days, but actually it's operating at about 90% within 30 hours.
Yeah.
There was
And
another
personally,
question
I
about
think in terms,
yeah.
yeah, just I want to add on this. And personally, I think in terms of as long as it's within like the 3 days, to me, it's still a fast response time because when market start to give opportunities, right? It doesn't like boom, it dip and then in one day it goes up, right? Then that is not really considered obvious opportunity, right? So usually when what I observe is I think Walter as well has decades of experience, like he can actually literally see the market will be dropping for a period of time, right? That's where you also have more confidence knowing that, wow, right now the market is fearful because it's not just within like a short lived 2, 3 days, then they recover. That is not considered fear, right? It's kind of like over and the period of time. And that period of time usually at least lasts for like, in my opinion, at least like 10 days to 15 days for you to really have a sense that, oh, right now the market is actually pretty fearful right now, right? Then that's when you want to really start to deploy your cash, right? So, in my opinion, in terms of 3 days, to me, it's totally okay. I also know that when I put in my money, but I know within 3 days, I'm able to take it out. That's fast enough for me to capture whatever opportunities the market is there to give me, right? So and I also want to ask, okay, how liquid okay, so we answered that question as well. And the Hey Max, okay, so Jay is asking, is it possible to
Uh-huh.
increase?
Yeah, we'd love to. I think, the way miles work is just very simple. So when someone pays using a Visa card, there's a little bit of they call it interchange, which comes back from the merchant back to the card. And what we do is we take that interchange and we use it to buy miles. Now, if you're spending internationally or you're buying food, then generally the interchange is a little bit higher. But on insurance premiums, it's very, very low. And so what we tried to do in the early days of our Max Miles partnership was to kind of have an expectation. We try and give the same miles for everything. But we found that it became quite unbalanced, where people a lot of miles would be being used on things which weren't actually generating the balance that we were looking for. So we had to adjust it a little bit. So I think, at the moment on insurance payments, it is still one of the cards you can still use for insurance payments. But the miles is not as high as what you'd be able to get on other things. But we're constantly looking at this stuff, and we are expecting to have some upgrades to our Max Miles program in the coming months. So watch this space.
Yeah, and I think there's also a question regarding Siu Siu is asking if does chocolate convert currency inside? Like because let's say they want to have US dollar, but now they only have SGD. Do you
Okay,
guys do
yeah,
the
sure.
conversion?
This is an awesome question. So the way banks work is when you have a currency conversion between SGD and USD, the bank decides what the rate is, right? And usually the bank has a margin inside there. So they'll charge you 1-2% inside there to take your money, right? What we do is we try and make it super transparent. And so what we do is when we set our rate for converting SGD to USD or vice versa, we take the mid-market rate or the Google rate, which is, within about 30 minutes or so. We take that middle rate of the market, which means no profit, no loss, just like exactly what the middle of the market is. And what we do is we have to charge a little bit just to kind of guarantee that rate because the money changes overnight, right? So we charge about 25 basis points for a change on that. And I think if you look at the mid-market rate plus the 25 basis points, you're probably still going to get an exchange rate or a net conversion, which is cheaper than most banks in Singapore. So yes, there is a little charge, but the idea is to try and make it as super transparent so that you know. What I'd recommend that you do is next time you do try and do a rate conversion, do a check on your traditional bank app and what the rate is, and do a check on chocolate, and you'll find that chocolates generally should be a good option for you to do this. Yeah.
So can I check, like, let's say I convert my money inside a brokerage account, for example, Mumu, Weibo versus converting my USD, SGD to USD to in chocolate. Is it quite similar in terms of the exchange rate?
I don't really know Mumu and those guys. I certainly
Mm,
know the banks, how they,
mm,
but give them all a try and see what you think. I mean, our job is to try and give the best possible outcome to customers. Of course, we have to protect ourselves a little bit around rate movements within that little gap. But we,
yeah.
we don't make much money out of that. What we really want is to help you with your cash savings. But give it a try and let me know. But I think
Yeah.
you'll be pleasantly surprised at how good
I
our
think
rates
it
are.
should be quite similar because I
Yeah,
think the FX rate, like remember Walter talking about the Hey Max card, the debit card that they have, the FX rate is also very good, right? So if you
yeah,
actually go overseas and you spend using the card, and then you will realize that the conversion rate will be way, way, way better as compared to you spend your own bank credit card, right? I
that's
usually
right.
now I don't
So,
spend any credit card at all when I go overseas because I know that the credit card spread is just crazy. Like the markup that they do from banks is just insane. That's why I no longer spend credit card when I go overseas. I rather like spend chocolate cards or whatever like Wise cards because the spread is so much better and they give me
that's
a
right.
lot
So
more
Chocolate Card
flexibility.
for international spend has zero FX fee. There's not even a guarantee fee. We don't even need that because it's immediate. So
Mhm.
there's zero fee. So, anybody's doing, whether it's a Wise, U-Trip, whatever, if it's a zero fee card, it's roughly the same, but Chocolate's pretty
Yeah.
good there as well. It'll be right. It's I mean, you can't really get a better rate for international because there's no zero spread taken. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a student, Farid from Malaysia. So he's asking, can Malaysian people also open it?
Currently, only if you're a Singapore, if you have a Sing Pass in Singapore, you can open an account. But if you're a Malaysian, for sure, you can open an account if you have a Sing Pass. But we don't
Mm.
actually take ringgit yet, and we're not actually operating in Malaysia yet. But who knows what will happen in the future?
Yeah, they recently opened in Hong Kong, right, Walter?
Sure. Yeah, so we've just started in Hong Kong. Hong Kong, we got ourselves licensed and ready in about August of last year, and we've kind of been building the alphas and beta testing stuff. And if you're very interested, we've done this awesome launch campaign in Hong Kong. We have this big chocolate coin, and it's been rolling around the streets in Hong Kong to kind of get some advertising and social media stuff. In Singapore, remember we used Henry Golding and a lot of fun stuff. Hong Kong is growing out that way around. And I see there's a question from Susu on the rates. Yeah, Hong Kong rates is at about 3.8% flat in Hong Kong is where we go. And again, we've benchmarked that against the competing, places for your money to try and make sure that we can give you that 50 to 100 basis points spread over what other people are offering, just to make your money get that little bit extra.
Mm. So asking the question about minimum deposit, is any minimum deposit on this? No,
Zero. There's
zero.
no zero. There's no minimum deposit. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why, but if you want to so-called hit the maximum top-up program, that's where the $50,000 actually comes in. So for me, that's why I part 50K, about 50K each in each currency so that I can lock up the maximum top-up program tier. All right. So another question from Zeyong, he's asking like if currently he doesn't have US dollar, should he consider converting SGD to USD to capture the better interest rate? But he's also concerned about USD depreciating over time. So what's your take on this?
Yeah, look, I think the markets have a way of sorting themselves out. I mean, the reason US dollar rates is higher than Singapore dollar rates is because there's an expectation that US dollars will depreciate over time, right? So, if and as you've seen, US dollar is now 127. There was a time when it was 124. There was a time when it was 130. It does move around, but the reason there's a rate difference is because the markets generally believe that US dollar will depreciate against the Sing dollar by about 2% per annum. But it does move up and down. And so there's a lot of opportunity to kind of see how it's moving and then move, pick whichever is suitable for you. Like Chloe is saying, she's taken the view to say, well, have some Sing dollar and some US dollar max out on the top up program, which seems to be a strategy that many people are working on. But yeah, it's good. I mean, my personal view is if my expenses in my life is in Sing dollars, then I would want to hold more Sing dollars. But if I want to diversify, then I can hold some USD too. But uh, yeah, up to you. Obviously, make a call. Yeah,
Yeah. I think it's really up to you. If you want stability, then obviously Singapore dollar will be more stable and predictable. But for me, is because I do invest in US stocks, so I know that I'm going to use USD anyway, and that's why
that's right.
quite a bit of my savings is in USD itself, right?
Right.
So that's the risk I'm willing to take as well because I use it anyway as a currency, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So another question, Ray is asking what about the rates compared to Trust Bank? For me, I just did a quick comparison, like basically going to Trust Bank, and I realized that they do offer very high attractive rate, but provided you fulfill all those criteria, like be it is that you need to refer a new credit card, then you need to deposit da da da, and then you need to have a monthly gyro, and then you have to this, or then after that you get the attractive yield. So once again, there's a lot of terms and conditions that apply in order for you to hit certain good tier that the website is sharing. Okay, all the banks are also doing this. In order to get those, you need to hit certain criteria. So for me, is I just like flexibility. And I like to keep it simple rather than me trying to match all the criteria in order to hit that rate, right? So that's why to me, chocolate makes more sense, right? Okay. So, all right. Yes. Oh, actually, chocolate card, can it be used on Apple Pay?
Very soon. So
Very
it's already
soon.
kind of been there on Google Pay for quite a long time. Apple is painful, but it's coming. Watch. Coming very, very soon. Yeah, yeah. But cool. Yeah, there was a question about, when I spend US dollar on my international, on my Sing dollar, on my chocolate card, what happens if I hold US dollar? Does it debit my US dollar account? No, the way chocolate works is that it only works through your Sing dollar account. So all of your spending is actually through your Sing dollar. But what it does, it converts every currency at that mid-market money market rate. So if you want to spend your US dollars or turn it back into Sing dollars, you can always just shift it back at any time when you want to. Yeah. And
Hmm.
your US dollars is earning good returns in the meantime.
Yeah. Another question is, how does chocolate finance actually sustain your business over a long time? Like, what is the business model?
Yeah, that's right. There are a couple of questions here from a couple of people. How do we make money? So as I said before, chocolate makes money from your savings. If we're offering 2% return for your single cash, we need to be able to earn more than 2%. So we have no fees. There are no hoops to jump through like on Trust Bank that Chloe was showing. The only way we make money is we have to deliver a good return to you. If we don't make any good return, we don't make profits. So that's how our business model works. And so far, we're doing very well. We've been able to deliver on the promise for all the reasons that I've suggested earlier around how chocolate operates. But that's our core model. We do make a little bit of money on the interchange that comes back from card spend. And hopefully on some of the FX we make a tiny little bit, but not very much. But generally that's how chocolate works. Our job is to make your money work hard and then deliver some value on top of that.
Hmm. And Evelyn is wondering any minimum holding period. From my understanding, there's no. And then the per annum return is being like basically given to you daily. But of course, the longer that you hold, then the longer that you enjoy the daily returns according to the per annum interest. I think the per annum returns that chocolate is giving. Is that right, Walter?
That's right. There's no minimums, and you can no minimum holding period either. Yeah.
Hmm. All right. And can I transfer? Okay, so usually for transferring, only works, is it through a bank? Can it work from like let's say from Chocolate Finance, can you transfer to IBKR? How does that work? IBKR is like a
So one of the things that's really important to us at Chocolate is security of your money, right? And you look at all the scams and things that are going on out there, we take it pretty seriously. So what we've done is we've said the only way you can take money in or money out of Chocolate is if it comes from an account that's in your name, right? So in order to validate account to take money out to, what we have to do is you have to send some money from that account to Chocolate, and then Chocolate can test actually that account has the right name, it has the right account number. We know that that name and that account number belongs to you. So that if there's ever a withdrawal, it can only go back to an account from where the money came, right? Which is a really, really strong, scam and fraud protection mechanism, which means that your money is as safe as possible because it can only go back to where it came. We think if you want to send it to IBKR and those things, just send it back to your bank and then send it back to IBKR. As again, Chocolate is not a bank. We're an asset management company. Our job is to deliver you great returns. That's our job. Making all of these payment rails and things to different places doesn't really add a lot of value, and banks do that much better than we do anyway. So our job is just to protect your money, make it super safe, deliver the best possible return we can, and do that in a fun, easy, no hoops way, which makes people's lives richer. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so can we have joint account?
At the moment, no, we don't do joint accounts. It's quite a complicated thing to do, but it's very, very easy for two people to each open an account, independently. But currently, no joint accounts yet.
Okay. Now, I know there's some more additional questions as well, but before that, how many of you would love to see the back end of how my own chocolate finance entire experience is like? If you would love to see it, can you type me in the chat? Okay, how many of you want me to open up? Okay, so I want to show you as well, just to make you have an idea if you were to also decide to part some of your cash with chocolate. This is how it actually looks like. All right. So firstly, let me just share screen on my phone. So everything is on the mobile app. It's very user-friendly in my opinion. And it's just very simple, like really simple interface. There's no complicated stuff. Okay, so where's my chocolate? Okay, chocolate's here. Right? So as you can see, right now I have about $40,000 in in SG. And if I want to add money, that's how I just click add SGD, and then it basically link to my bank account. And then if you want to withdraw money, it's the same thing as well. I can withdraw whatever account amount that I want, right? And in terms of the transactions for the daily returns, this is where you can see every single month what is the returns that your cash is giving you. So in November, $74, December, 64, January, 64. So if you see all, that's how you can see the overall, your daily returns, how it actually looks like. So right now it's February. So since 1st of February, I make about $2 a day for my SGD. And if for US dollar, this is where the highest, right, the highest return, which right now I have about like, I have earned 59 US so far this month, right? Because I am like I'm hitting the 50K tier, right? So that's why I'm maxing out with the chocolate top-up program, right? So anything above 50K, that is up to 3.8% depending on the performance as well, right? So in lifetime, I make about $728, right? So then you can see all in terms of in total, what is my portfolio being managed by chocolate and all this. And yeah, that's it. It's very simple. And over here, you can also see about understanding your terms. So be it, is it like over here, how does that work? Your first 50K, how does that work? What is the top-up program? You can click open it and see more information about it. And yeah, so basically this app itself, I think is designed in a very clean way. And whenever you have any questions, okay, previously I actually have a question about checking, oh, how do I see what is inside my portfolio because I'm buying some funds through chocolate as well. So I ask them a question immediately. Yeah, so they actually answer me pretty quickly as well, right? It's like very, very I think customer oriented. Now, some people are also asking, what if chocolate closes down? I think Walter answered that before, but in case the student missed the answer, are you able to answer again?
Yeah, sure. So as I said, everybody's money is not inside chocolate. It's kept in a separately segregated ring-fenced account. So when Chloe showed you that she has units in underlying funds like Dimensional and Fullerton, those units belong to you as the customer, right? So if something happens to chocolate, that money is always going to be there and accessible and ready for you. That's why it works so much more efficiently inside the chocolate universe because the money is separately segregated and custodized. So that's it. But and of course, obviously, we are MAS regulated. Every day we have a lot of reporting to do to make sure that we stay afloat and working correctly. So it all works very well. But most importantly, your money is segregated and ring fenced and protected in that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any minimum age to open an account?
I think it's 18,
18. Yeah, it's 18.
which I think is a law in Singapore. You have to be 18 to invest. Um, we did a lot of work a while ago to start thinking about should we be preparing for children's accounts or subsidiary accounts. We haven't quite got there yet, but we've had a lot of customers come to us requesting that. And of course, all of the customer requests, we put it into like a list of things, and then as things go by, we will we'll attack them and build them more and more. Yeah.
Mm. Another question is chocolate finance giving out personal loan to public and earn interest money from it?
No, we don't do that. All of the investor, all the money or the investments that you make into a chocolate account is all done through short-term fixed income corporate bonds and government bonds to deliver the returns. We don't lend.
Mm. And that's why when you can also check through, right? Because it's inside your own portfolio as well. You can literally check through what chocolate is actually investing in on your behalf. And I actually asked my ChatGPT AI to run through the list as well. There are really high grade corporate bonds, government bonds, and that's why the safety level is there. And at the same time, the returns are decent, right? Much better than me putting my money in the banks or whatsoever. Okay. Now another question that we have is how do we deposit? Oh yeah. Oh, okay. So before that, so Peter is asking, is the daily interest earned reinvested and compounded?
Yeah, that's right. So it's daily interest is compounded, so it goes into your balance and it works that way. Underlying is the returns on the underlying fund, but then that gets credited to your ledger balance on a daily basis. Yes. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, so good thing for us. Okay. So if you don't spend, you compound. So then another question, that's a very interesting question, but what is the maximum amount for the percentage? The maximum. Okay, so let's just let me share screen on the hold on over here. This is what you are getting. So for me, I hit my 50K in order to have the 50K top up program reward, right? So if you are topping up using SGD, then your first 20K will be 2%. And then the next 30K will be 1.8%, right? So this is Chocolate's top-up program. If sometimes certain months, maybe their returns are unable to, for example, like kind of underperform what they wanted to give you. So basically they will top up for you so that you still get this smooth return, right? And then for US dollar, that will be first 20K 4.1, and then the next 30K 3.8%, right? So that's why I definitely hit that for US dollar. I have a lot less Sing dollar, and that's why I haven't hit my Sing dollar yet. But all my US dollar, wherever I can pot to hit that 50K, I pot it there. All right. So just to demonstrate this question, for those who want to pot your US dollar inside, some of you are asking, how do I do that? So let me just share screen again from my phone. And I really love all the questions as well. You guys are really thinking through, right? So now, over here, basically what I did was I have a DBS multi-currency account. So the DBS multi-currency account is where I transfer my US dollar inside, right? Basically, firstly, you go to US dollar, USD, and then you click add US dollar. So you can either convert from your Sing to US, but if you already have US, you can just directly add USD. So you can see add US dollar. And because Chocolate Finance, actually, they are also using DBS. So if you are using DBS, it will be very fast. Usually within 1 hour, your money will be inside, right? And there will be no fees. But if you are from other banks, then it takes slightly longer, right? But it's still pretty fast as well. So all you need to do is make sure you transfer your US dollar into this account that Chocolate is showing here, right? That's how after that it will be credited. So yeah, that's how you can do it. All right. So let me see any additional questions. All right. There's a very interesting question about so if you Derek, if you are an existing user, you can already start to consider putting some funds inside so that you can enjoy that return that was shown earlier as well. All right. And over here, how does $60,000 earn the interest? So for the first 50K, that will be the top-up program, and then the after 50K, which is a $10,000, will be the returns that Chocolate Finance is targeting to help you to hit, which is 1.8% according to Walter. Is that right? Yeah.
That's right. So above your that above 50,000, we still 1.8% is what we're targeting to achieve. But of course, we don't top you up if we miss. But if you over time, it will still get there because the value of the underlying bonds is still delivering that as a yield to maturity. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And then, wow, that's a very interesting question. I want to ask this as well, right? So Ray is asking, what's the story behind Chocolate Finance as a name?
Well, life is complicated enough. How do you make a happy place for your money, and what makes you more happy than chocolate? Everybody loves chocolate. Chocolate makes you happy, and we want you to be happy about your money. Money is one of the most stressful things in the world for so many people. So our entire business is designed for how do we make people feel more happy about their money, and chocolate is a great way to think to feel happy, and that was the name. I think a lot of people remember the name chocolate, which actually helps us a lot. And who doesn't love chocolate? It's a great name, I think. Yeah.
I think so too. And I also like when I open up the chocolate app, it says like make your money happy, right? So it's like you make your money work harder for you, but in a happy way. And I was like, wow, that is something that I can definitely resonate, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So before we wrap up, maybe one last question for Walter is for people who are very new, right? Be it is it in terms of investing, in terms of personal finance, what will be one principle or the chocolate advice, right? Chocolate finance advice that you will have for people here.
Yeah, I mean that's a good one. I always think that people have got three buckets of money. You've got your cash money, you've got your savings for a long term, your rainy day, your retirement, your house, your long term 10-year plus, and you've got your opportunity money, your splash money. Call it your cash money, your stash money, and your splash money, right? So chocolate wants to focus on your cash and your stash, and we encourage you to think about how to splash wisely because splash is sometimes a little bit more like gamble. Stash is a little bit more like long-term, safe, conservative Warren Buffett type of way, right? So we have this cash, stash, splash of view. So our view is you want to have 3 to 6 months of your salary in cash as a net, and then our view is to put things away into a solid, stable, longer term, potentially higher return, balanced investment portfolio, which is going to deliver something reasonably good over a 10-year period. Chocolate doesn't believe in outperforming the market and trying to, be the best. What chocolate is looking for is stable, solid, long-term growth at the lowest possible fees. And that's the kind of thing that we're going to be building into the future. That's what we love. Yeah, we love to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, so I also agree that there's definitely different buckets when it comes to cash, in terms of your wealth, right? I also think that these three buckets pretty much summarize how we should be segregating our money as well. You definitely would need to have some cash should anything happen, be it is it like emergency situation, or be it is it like you're just holding onto cash for better opportunities, right? So right now, I think chocolate has done a fantastic job in terms of giving cash returns much better than elsewhere, right? At least what I've been observing for the last 2 years as well. I kind of regretted why I never put in money earlier. But at the same time, there's also another bucket where you want to invest, right? So I believe for all of you guys, many of you have been following me for some time. You know that we advocate long-term investing. That's how your money will grow for you. And last but not least, for those who want to venture a little bit more like trading, for example, buying certain asset classes that will be more volatile, be it say crypto and all this, then you also have some funds for that, but that shouldn't be the most amount of money because that's where the most volatility comes in. So I think the bigger amount should be definitely under the stash, which is the investing side. But then you do need to make sure you have cash to set aside um, in case for emergency or in case for big opportunities that you want to put in more cash into the middle bucket, right?
Yeah.
So how many of you understand the importance of it? If you understand, can you type three in the chat? Okay, three stands for three buckets. Awesome. All right. So yeah. So anyone has any additional questions before we
I think
wrap
there was
up?
one or two little questions from Jason
Sure.
and also from Michelle just about
Sure.
what happens if sudden chocolate finance suddenly closed down. I mean, it's a very reasonable question to ask because we know we're a new company in Singapore. Like I said before, all of your money is sitting in a separately segregated, ring-fenced, custodized account. If anything ever happens to chocolate, that money stays safe. Like any company, if it was to close down, there would be a liquidator. The liquidator would kind of go back and say, oh, this money belongs to Michelle, this money belongs to Jason, and they would just send it back to you. That's how it would work if anything was to happen. But I've been around a long time. I'm not expecting anything to happen to chocolate. We've designed it in a way which is designed to work.
Yeah, exactly. And Yeah, that's why for me, I am comfortable putting my money inside. But of course, very importantly, is you decide for yourself whether does it make sense for you. Because at the end of the day, it's really your own decision. And I'm just sharing what I personally do, right? So how many of you felt like whatever things that we went through during this cash flow mastery workshop, has it been useful for you guys? If it's been useful, can you type useful in the chat? Okay, we went through different strategies and 5 strategies in total. And thank you so much. Okay, I'm so glad that all of you guys find it very, very useful. So most importantly is find the strategy or stick to the strategy that works for you the best and give you that kind of peace of mind, right? When it comes to parking your cash, giving you the liquidity, the flexibility. And for me, it's chocolate because firstly, I looked at the portfolio that they personally buy on behalf of us, right? So I felt like this is something that is very, very safe, right? Be it is it like the corporate bonds, be it is it the Singapore bonds and all this. So I personally think that these are very safe, great kind of investment. And at the same time, I also want to make sure I make my money work harder while waiting for better opportunities. So yeah, so by the way, this is my own Arigato AI verdict. So I compare different kind of instruments that we talk about here, from bank savings to T-bills, SSB to even being like other bonds and all this. I think chocolate really stands to be the top. Uh, and then they give me the most amount of liquidity, right? Because I can withdraw my money and usually within about 3 days, actually in less than 3 days, I'll be able to receive back my funds. And the same thing, this is for SGD. For US dollar, it's the same as well. It's also outperforming money market funds as well. So when I put my money inside brokerage account, that means that will be the money that I'm ready to invest. So any idle cash inside, I will always make sure I activate my money market funds. But there are also money that I don't want to immediately deploy to invest. That's where I put it inside chocolate so that it gives me better returns in this case, right? And that's how, for me, it's definitely a yes for chocolate. Okay, so for money market funds, okay, in fact, this is the number 5, the fifth strategy, chocolate finance, to me, is definitely a must, a goal for me, right? So yeah, so for those who are also thinking about how to unlock your cash better in this new year, if you want to sign up, you can sign up through my link over here. Then yeah, basically both of us will be enjoying the rewards, especially the top program rewards that chocolate is generously giving. So I would think that this is a very good chance for you to relook on how you can deploy your cash better. And this could be one of the solutions that you probably have been long looking for. All right. So thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate all of you guys as well. So Walter, do you have any last advice or last parting words before we say goodbye to our community member here for tonight?
I love you all. Look after yourselves and make sure you're treating your money with happiness and kindness. Don't gamble on things that you don't understand. Look at things that are simple and safe. It's very difficult to make money and very easy to lose it. I think safe and secure is the best way. But be happy. Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody. Let's be happy together in this amazing 2026 and also make our happy money together as well. So, thanks everybody for joining in. Hope you guys learned a lot from this. And thanks, Walter, for your time as well, for spending your precious evening time with us. And we definitely learned a lot from your insights. So, I will also be uploading this recording to my YouTube channel. So, if you want to watch the front part where I talk about different strategies as well, once I posted this, which will be tomorrow, then we'll update you guys. Oh, by the way, okay, in case some of you guys haven't joined the Telegram channel that I run, okay, this is my Telegram. Feel once you go in there, very importantly, is I will send a lot of different updates, be it say, oh, the workshop replay has been uploaded, or the next workshop where I actually conduct different kind of themes, all right? Sometimes it's about investing, sometimes about cash flow strategy. So stay tuned because there will be more amazing workshops upcoming as well, right? And in the meantime, once you join my Telegram, if you receive any DM from Chloe, that is not me, okay? I don't DM anyone. I only have public channel, okay? And don't DM. So anyone who receives DM, They are just scammers impersonating me. So please keep yourself safe. And we know that scams are very rampant right now because a lot of people like to use financial influencers like me or any other financial influencers like Calvin Learn Investing recently just got impersonated again. So please take care, all right? So can everybody type safe in the chat, okay? So safety is the most important thing. Don't rely on scammers to give you the returns. You can decide what to do with your money, right? For example, in this case, Chocolate Finance gives us very safe return for our cash. And at the same time, you can learn how to invest. This is what I coach people how to invest our money better as well. So over there, join me as I continue to share more resources, different workshops to teach you how to invest better as well in 2026. All right. So thank you, everybody, and have a happy new year. And see you guys during our next workshop. Thank you so much, Walter. Thank you, everybody. Make sure to sign up if you haven't done so. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Walter. See you. Bye.
Bye.